We're getting into the midst of September, and that means PlayStation 4 game releases are really starting to pick up. We had the release of Marvel's Avengers last week, Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 1 and 2, and this week, pretty significant week as well. I wouldn't say that it's quite as big of a week as last week, but you've got some very exciting releases, and without further ado, I do want to cover the games that are coming out this week. First of all, of course, the major one, the one that I have been hyping up for seemingly months on end, and one that I've been asking for seemingly years on end. Kingdoms of Amalur: Ray Reckoning is out today. Now, this is one I have been incredibly excited for a very long time. I played Kingdoms of Amalur when it came out on the PlayStation 3 back on in 2012, and I loved it back then. Unfortunately, the studio went defunct. A lot of unfortunate things happened with it, but now it's back. THQ Nordic picked up the IP, and what an IP they have picked up, because Kingdoms of Amalur is one of those games that I feel like has aged really well. Like, people talk about it in a very high regard, at least those that have played it, and now with this version being released, it has a second chance in the limelight. This is an action RPG that, you know, if you play a lot of open world RPGs and you're not digging the slower paced combat style, maybe like a Witcher or something like that, this one has a very fast paced, high octane action gameplay style, which definitely makes it more similar to an action RPG, or, you know, infused with an action game rather than it just being a bare bones RPG in terms of its combat. However, there's still a lot of depth to the combat as well. You've got different play styles and things of that nature, and there's quite a bit of customizability as well. I wouldn't say the narrative is quite as strong as some of the other RPGs. It's fine, but really I enjoyed this game from the exploration of the world, all the quests that you can do, the gameplay. Really, to me, the gameplay is the standout element of this game. And by the way, there is going to be more content that is coming to Kingdoms of Amalur early next year, so that's crazy. I believe we don't typically see that out of remasters. When a remaster comes out, it's generally just that game. They typically don't add more content and significant content on top of that. Now, that is going to be, I believe, content that you pay for. It's an upcoming add-on, so that is something that you definitely have to be aware about. And there are other remasters that have done this too. I look at like something like the .hack GU Last Recode collection that did it, but cool to see KOA do it as well, because there's not any indication that this is going to be a slam dunk success, but I believe it will be. This is the kind of game that I feel like is going to be up everyone's alley in 2020. An open world action RPG with great combat and a lot of content. I think this is something everybody's going to end up digging, and at a great price point of $40, definitely do check this one out. It's a game that I hope does really well, and it gives impetus for THQ to do more with Kingdoms of Amalur in the future outside of this add-on that is coming out. Next up, we have Tamarin. Now, this is a game that kind of escaped my I guess, sight of view for quite a while. This game has you explore, leap, and shoot to save your family from the insect invasion. Leap with agility of a Tamarin as you journey into the northern wilderness in a world full of exploration, 3D platforming, and bug-splattering action. Explore an incredible interconnected 3D world brimming with primate platforming and bug-splattering shooter action. Leap with the agility of a Tamarin as you journey into the northern wilderness on scenic routes through forests, fjords, and mountains. Along the way, you'll chase mysterious electrical fireflies, discover a secret underground world of dancing ants, rescue innocent birds, and restore the Tamarin's once idyllic natural habitat. So it looks pretty interesting from a visual style. Definitely a cute cast of characters in the game, if nothing else. We'll see how this one turns out. And it is due out September 10th. Alright, moving on from that, another release that is dropping today, and this one's a pretty major one. RPG Maker MV. Of course, these are incredibly popular on PC, and if you go on over to Steam, you see RPG Maker created games release all the time. You know, you gotta keep your expectations in line when you play those games, because they are very much presented in a similar style. Comes down to a lot of different elements and how they tell the story and things of that nature, and how you want to receive RPG Maker titles. However, it definitely does give you a host of different tools to use to actually create relatively compelling games. It notes powerful enough for a developer, simple enough for a child, versatile enough for any platform. RPG Maker MV allows you to make the RPG of your dreams. This includes a host of new features, and it's been out on PC for quite a while. Also notes, for years, RPG Maker has been the easiest way to make your own role-playing game. We have strived to give everyone, regardless of your experience or skill level, the tools to make a game that they could be proud of. Now with RPG Maker MV, your game isn't just on Windows PC, it's on the move. Make your game on your Windows or OS X PC, and then obviously now you can do it on PlayStation 4 as well. So it's going to be cool to see how this is ultimately utilized by the PlayStation audience. It uses a user-friendly map system to help you build the RPG world of your dreams with an an additional automated upper layer mapping in MV is easier than before. Make your world live with a simple event system. In RPG Maker, you use simple, intuitive event system to bring your world to life. You can easily and quickly create NPCs for your characters to interact with, puzzles for them to solve, and quests for them to complete. Get started immediately with built-in resources. Like previous RPG makers, comes with its own graphic and audio resources for you to use in your game, from sprites to battlers, from sound effects to music. MV comes with resources for both fantasy and sci-fi games, and you are easily able to add more. Use 2 different battle modes right out of the box with a tick of a checkbox system. You can choose between the classic front view battle to a side view battle system. And see your game in higher resolution. Now you can make the default 1.5 times the resolution. Sprites can show more emotion, and the scenery can be more detailed than ever before. Obviously, something like this isn't really up my alley. I'm not more on creation. I don't even get into the creation suites of games like Little Big Planet or A Dreams, but I am definitely about like seeing what other people can do, because people out there are definitely more creative than me and can definitely sink a lot more time than me into stuff like this, stuff like Dream, stuff like Little Big Planet. Obviously, this is more of an intuitive creation suite, and you're primarily buying it just for the creation suite. But nevertheless, this one is out today as well. Next up, and lastly, I want to round this out with a pair of racing games that are coming. Hotshot Racing is the first one I want to talk about. Hotshot Racing is a blisteringly fast arcade-style racing game fusing drift handling, razor-sharp retro visuals, and an incredible sense of speed to create an exhilarating driving experience. Definitely has a cool art style going on for it. For a little while, it was reminding me of the Taxi game on Dreamcast. I can't even fathom that I'm forgetting the Crazy Taxi. Can't believe I just forgot one of the most iconic Dreamcast games of all time. Nevertheless, definitely not like Crazy Taxi. That's just the vibe I got right away. 16 racing circuits provide the twists, turns, and straights conducive to searingly quick racing. Taken coastal, jungle, alpine, and Las Vegas desert environments, with each course modeled with the most vivid colors and blue skies for miles. So this is one that will be priced at $19.99. We'll see how that one turns out, and that one is also out on September 10th. And lastly, out on September 11th, we have Inertial Drift. Forget everything you know about drifting. Inertial Drift tears up the racing rulebook with innovative twin-stick controls, completely reimagining driving mechanics, and a roster of fiercely individual cars. This one's also got a really cool look to it with, I guess, like a watercolor art style. Don't really know how to describe it, but I really dig the look of the game. You got 16 cars, 20 tracks, and set in a 90s retro future. Again, presentation is rather cool in this one. A couple of racing games that are definitely going to go under the radar, but I wanted to make mention of those as well. But that's going to conclude this video. Again, this week is definitely highlighted by Kingdoms of Amalur, Ray Reckoning, but Tamarin, you've got RPG Maker, some pretty cool stuff coming out this week. That's going to conclude this video. Sound off with all of your thoughts in the comment section down below. Thank you for watching, and goodbye. Hey guys, we hope you enjoyed the video, and if you did, make sure to hit the subscribe button, and if you're already subscribed, do us a favor and hit the bell icon. This way you'll be notified whenever we post a new video. That's the best way to keep up with all of our uploads, and we usually try to upload 2 videos a day. And with the bell icon hit, you'll be notified whenever we do upload a video. As always, thanks for watching.